that it does seem, generally speaking, that there seems to be some progress. That said, there are a lot of promises being made and then backtracking, and there's a lot of conflicting information from both sides on where we actually stand at the moment. We got retail sales and jobs really as the focus point here this week. I'm Brandon Steele, financial advisor with Mainsail Financial Group here in Bellevue, and our goal is to leave you feeling more empowered after each of these weekly updates, bringing you some of the data that's really shaping the markets and hopefully weeding out some of the noise along the way. And again, this week primarily focused on retail sales and jobs data, but we will wrap up with a bit of a question of the week, just kind of a quick update on where things stand with the Iran tensions and how that's affecting markets as well. So before we get there, a couple things to address. First off, I actually want to start with consumer sentiment, which came out last Friday. So last Friday, we had consumer sentiment numbers come out. It was down a bit and came in at 53.3. So this is important to watch. However, consumer confidence showed a pretty strong number. So a bit of conflicting data, but I don't think much of a surprise given what's going on, obviously, with the tensions in Iran right now and some of the economic considerations out there at the moment, that this would be down a little bit at present. So again, consumer sentiment came in at 53.3. We also had retail sales up 0.6%. This is a delayed report, so just take that with a bit of a grain of salt, but surprise to the upside nonetheless. And then we also had job openings come out this week. So job openings showed just under 6.9 million. And this is pretty quick off of the back of Fed Chair Powell comments, kind of suggesting that there was very little, if any, private sector job creation lately, primarily due to some of the AI advancements and what that means in terms of how businesses are looking at hiring ahead. So this is really important and absolutely factors into where rates may go from here. Now, that said, Fed Chair Powell's last Fed meeting should be in May, and so we'll continue to keep an eye on that. But obviously, we should have a new Fed chair coming in here shortly. But either way, again, this is a committee, not a person that operates the Fed, and so really what we're seeing again is some concerns around job creation and growth at the moment from the Federal Reserve. With that said, we had ADP employment numbers come out. That figure shows that we added 62,000 jobs, which was slightly higher than expected, but it was based off a low number. So again, take some of this with a grain of salt here this week. The jobs data is important to watch, absolutely. But what we want to really keep an eye on is some of these trends. And with that, just be sure to tune in next Thursday, because tomorrow we do get the employment report data and the unemployment rate, which Fed Chair Powell has suggested that is really what the Fed is focused on now, is the unemployment rate and how that translates to not just are we creating jobs, but are there actually jobs to fill and are they being filled? So that'll be an important one to watch. And it sounds like something that the Fed is really paying close attention to. But again, we just want to keep an eye on that trend more so than any individual data point. Do keep in mind markets are closed tomorrow, so we do have a bit of a shorter trading week. But so far, and fingers crossed, we continue to hold up here because this week has given us a little bit of a breath of relief so far. Again, next Thursday, we'll cover the employment rate, the unemployment rate as well. We'll also cover the Fed meeting minutes that come out on Wednesday, and then we have income, spending, and inflation. So we got quite a bit to cover there next Thursday. But before we break for this week, I just wanted to share kind of a quick update in the Iran situation. What I will share is that it does seem, generally speaking, that there seems to be some progress. That said, there are a lot of promises being made and then backtracking, and there's a lot of conflicting information from both sides on where we actually stand at the moment. So just, we want to watch this closely is all I'm trying to say. Although it looks like maybe we're starting to see some signs of relief, I would say, let's not count our chickens or eggs before they hatch. We definitely want to make sure that things are progressing in a real way before claiming victory, essentially, before we can really say this is behind us. So this is something to watch really carefully. Overall, what we have seen is that markets have recovered slightly based on some hopes of where this does go. But time will tell, and hopefully these tensions do continue to de-escalate, which might continue to put some life back in the markets. But again, we really want to pay attention to oil prices. And today is a bit of an anomaly from what we've seen lately, where oil prices are up, but markets are actually picking up a bit as well. So that is important to watch. And if oil prices stay elevated, this rally may have a hard time continuing. So it's really a matter of if we can see oil prices continue to stay lower for a bit. So that's really what we're watching. Hopefully that helps, but it was great to see a bit of a relief here this week, and hopefully that continues. Hopefully we have more progress on this de-escalation of tensions over in Iran. Be sure to tune in next week. Again, keep in mind markets are closed tomorrow on Friday, but be sure to tune in next Thursday. We've got quite a bit to cover and look forward to sharing that with you. In the meantime, have a great upcoming weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday at 3.